Hello everyone, welcome back to another Fallout 76 video. In this one I'm going to show you a new strategy on how to get about 20 legendary items and 1 to 2 levels per hour with Fissure Sites. Let's get started. Are you bored of the traditional ways to farm legendary items, bosses, and even experience? Well, I have a great alternative for you right now, which is basically farming Fissure Sites all across the map. I will show you a roadmap that I made with 15 marked and unmarked Fissure Sites that you can visit without having to server jump. So you can get about 15 to 20 legendary items and 1 to 2 levels per hour, depending how quickly you are and on how many enemies you kill, of course. So let me show you how to do this new farming strategy to kill your boredom and get something new into your farming routines. I've been doing this in the past couple of days and it works really well, especially because nobody is really doing this, so you have all the fissures for yourself right now. Ever since Bethesda allowed Scorchebeasts to be legendary with patch 14, there is a new way to farm legendary items and experience both at the same time. All you have to do is head to Fissure Sites and kill whatever you find there. Normally you will face waves of Scorched. It's really great experience, one of the best ways to level up in game right now, and there is an additional value. You can find legendaries all the time. I would say about 60 to 70% of the time the Scorchebeast in a Fissure Site will be a legendary. Normally just 1 star, but you can also find 2 stars and 3 stars sometimes, not very often though. Moving on, I have created this strategy roadmap for you with all the fissures or the main ones I could find. I know there are some more in the very north of the map, but this is the major concentration in the Cranberry Bog, in the Savage Divide and in the Mire as well. But I suggest you to focus on the first 9 because they are the main marked fissures in the map. The other 5 are unmarked ones and you won't always find Scorched around them. So they are a risk to visit, but normally they are around major fissures, so you don't lose much to check them out. If you are around a major fissure already, then check the minor ones as well. Maybe you will find additional Scorched around and it's added bonus really. Now, you don't really need to server jump to follow this roadmap. You can start at the very north and end at the very south, going through the numbers I am adding here. And by the time you're finished with the last number, you can go back to the first because the Fissure Sites respawn very quickly. Now that you know where to go, it's time for the next point. For fissure farming, I really advise you to take a heavy weapon or rifle build, because it's just so much quicker and easier to do. You can of course still use your melee build to kill the Scorched around. It is slower and way more risky because all the Scorched can hit you from afar. There are normally 1 or 2 dozens of them around, which makes things a bit complicated in terms of avoiding damage with a melee build. Of course you can save a lot of bullets this way, but you risk dying and things are way slower than they're supposed to. Therefore you should use something like a minigun or a rifle, which will ensure that you kill things much faster. And for the Scorchebeast itself, it's a blessing because, as you probably know, some of them don't really land. You can stay there forever and they don't land at all. So you can kill them in the air with a long range weapon with strong DPS, like a bloodied explosive weapon, for example. What perks should you use? As I mentioned, you should go for a heavy weapon build or a rifle build. In my case, I'm melee mostly, so I go for heavy weapon. Don't forget to equip Fireproof and Endurance because this will block all damage from the Scorchebeast Sonic Wave. Yes, you heard me right, so get level 3 and goodbye damage from the Sonic Waves. In Charisma, make sure to take Travel Agent because you will be traveling from location to location, and Lone Wanderer if you are playing solo for the extra AP regen and reduced damage. Tenderizer is also helpful, but not a necessity exactly. If you have an explosive gun, then you know what to do. And Agility, Action Girl, and or Marathoner is also helpful because you will be moving a lot, fighting a lot, so they help your stamina being up there as you need. In luck, I advise you to take Bloody Mess for extra damage and Serendipity to avoid damage when you are about to die. It's not a must, but it surely helps. Why the hell should you go to Fissure Sites to farm legendary items when there are places like White Spring or West Egg, or even Charleston, capital city, where you can find legendaries with 2-3 stars quite often? Well, one of the main reasons is because there is about 60 to 70% chance to find a legendary Scorchebeast at the Fissure Sites. Yes, it happens all the time and very often. Too bad that you will most likely find a 1-star Scorchebeast, but it happens so often that you can visit all the fissures in your server and you will probably get a lot of legendary items just from one run. At least that's what happens to me quite often. But don't be surprised when you fast travel to a Fissure site and you won't find any legendary Scorchebeast, because that happens also. But normally you will find a 1-star going around, and sometimes 2 stars, and rarely 3 stars. I think that I found the 3 stars twice, maybe 3 times at most, since patch 14 came out about 3 weeks ago. It's quite rare, but for 1 stars it's very common, and for 2 stars it's, you know, not so common, but it's also not rare. Additionally, this is a new way to farm legendaries and a lot of experience at the same time. That's why it is quite smart to hunt and farm Fissure sites right now. But you can get the most value around the prime fissure. At least that's where I usually find 2 and 3 star Scorchebeasts. Sometimes you can even find 2 or 3 Scorchebeasts going around, one with 1 star and the other with 2 or 3 stars. I've seen it quite often, but only around the prime fissure in the Cranberry Bog. And the other fissures, it's mostly a 1 star and sometimes a 2 stars. I've never seen a 3 star Scorchebeast in other fissures other than the prime fissure and the one around it, to the very west. You might be thinking, why should I go for Fissure sites when I will most likely find 1 star Scorchebeasts around it? Well, it's not only about farming legendary items here, it's also about the amount of experience that you can get over time. Now, in about an hour, you can get at least 1 level if you actively farm Fissure sites. You can also find other creatures like Mootman or the Flatwoods Monster as shown in here. You will also stumble across random events which might contain or spawn other legendaries as well. There's a lot of value for the amount of effort and time you need for this strategy. So one fissure after the other, you can follow the roadmap I presented you, and I can assure you that you will end up with a lot of experience and legendary items in your inventory. Something else I must confess here is that no marked fissures are not as valuable as the marked ones. I have tested this several times. I went to these fissures that you can find in the map, but if you know where they are, you can find them, go there, and most of the time there will be nothing at all. Sure, sometimes there will be a normal scorch wave around, but most of the time it will be empty, or you will find random events around it, like dead remnants or a robot of some sort, but you won't really find scorched around it, which is a letdown in my opinion, because I really hope these extra no-marked fissures would add up to the entire strategy thing, but it doesn't at all. So there you go, it's an additional information that you should know, and I advise you to focus on the marked fissures. If you are around and you know of any other minor fissures around, then feel free to check it out. Maybe there's more scorched. But if you don't have this knowledge, or you don't want to bother, you don't have enough time, just forget it. Focus on the main marked fissures, and that should be enough. I'm just trying to maximize your time in your farming here, and I don't think that the minor fissures are essential here. They might help, but most of the time I feel like they don't add anything because they are empty. If you are not convinced yet through the experience gain and the legendary item farming, then here's some more added value that you can find when you are farming Fissure Sites. First of all, you will find random events, as I mentioned before, but going to locations around Fissure Sites, like this one in the north, around the munitions factory workshop, we found 2 Scorchebeasts going around, both with 1 star each. Pretty handy, huh? Moving south in this fissure near Moss Town, you can also find something else besides Scorched. If you move a little bit to the south, you will find a fixed spawn for a Megasloth. Therefore, if you need some silver, some screws, go ahead, kill it and claim your chunk. It is that easy. Unless it's on cooldown, it will always be around. In the fissure north of the Ranger Lookout, you will also find a minor fissure, and that's a spawn for random events. You will often find legendaries there, like Shipsquatch. They are mostly 1 star, and sometimes you can find Megasloths too, but hey, it's great knowledge. These are just some examples, but most of the fun is right here, around the primed fissure, and the other fissure to the very west. Now, this entire region is not only a great place to find legendary Scorchebeasts and endless waves of Scorched. It's perfect for experience, it's great for legendary items, but there is way more you can find around this hot zone. For example, several random event spawns, they are all over the area, as well as fixed Megasloth spawns too. They are all over the cranberry bog. I actually didn't know it was this easy to find a Megasloth in here. I have discovered this very recently, but as you can see, you can find 3 stars going around in random events, and this is not rare. It happens every now and then. But what shocked me the most is the amount of Megasloths that you can find around these 2 fissures. You can realize that by the sounds they make, so it's very easy to spot one when they are alive around you, and that's great because they drop a lot of value, at least for me, so I usually kill them, pick up the caps, pick up the silver, the screws, and it's perfect. Top tip here, when you are around and you have cleaned the Scorched and killed the Scorchebeasts too, make sure to look around and look for other enemies. Chances are one of them will be a boss, a legendary, and maybe it's a 3 stars, just like this Mr. Goodsey right here. I wasn't expecting it, and damn, I found it really randomly. It can happen to you as well. I have a few more tips to make your life easier while applying this strategy. First of all, don't simply focus on the legendary Scorchebeast, because all the Scorch behind you can easily kill you while you are tunnel visioning the Scorchebeast. And sometimes when you die, you get bugged and then you have to restart the game. You will lose your junk items if you are solo playing, and that's really unpleasant. So make sure to do not get swarmed. Take down the waves of Scorch first to ensure you won't go down that easily. Keep an eye on your HP as well, and if you are running a bloodied build, then double your attention to the HP and to the enemies around you, because as I mentioned, it's not about dying, it's mostly because there are so many bugs when you die, and if that happens to you, you will most likely have to restart the game, and then you lose the legendary, you lose your junk. It's super frustrating, so let's avoid dying altogether. Second tip, and very important one, when you are about to take down a Scorchebeast, a legendary one, make sure it's not on top of a fissure, because if it drops inside the fissure, sometimes you won't be able to loot it at all. In this case, I was really lucky because the wing is right here, but when they go deep inside, it's very difficult. Sometimes you even die trying to loot it. Now, there is a trick when you go to a fissure site and you don't find any legendaries and you don't want to kill the waves, just instantly teleport to another fissure without attacking anything. Make sure to, well, be stealthy, that helps a lot. But if you are aggroed, make sure to run and TP to elsewhere because it just works. Make sure not to get hit, and this is a very fast way to go through fissures without losing too much time if you are only looking for legendary items. That's it. That's how you farm Fissure Sites. I hope you learned something new here today and that I could make it simple, because it is quite simple. Just don't forget to script your 1 stars or, well, legendary items that you get from the Scorchebeasts, because they stack up very quickly and you can easily get over encumbered by farming fissures. At least I do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this new strategy that I found out. I wanted to share it with you guys because I know most of you farm legendaries and you love to level up as well. So this is a great alternative that is also new. It's fresh air into farming routines, and hopefully it will help you in one way or the other. Moving on, I want to thank you all for the immense support and love that you guys have been giving me in my latest video, which I talked about the hate wave surrounding Fallout 76 and the Fallout First membership. Really, guys, you are the best. Thank you so much for all the support you have been giving me. Other than that, that's going to be everything for this video. If you enjoyed this guide and you would like to see more like this, don't forget to leave a like and to click on the subscribe button below if you haven't yet. I also have a Patreon page for anyone who would like to go one step further and support me in that way. The link is always in the video description below. Feel free to check it out. I will see you guys very, very soon. Until then, take care of yourselves and adios. Bye bye.